Hello, today is the third lesson of our Excel VBA in a nutshell course, and we are in part 2 how VBA works with Excel. As more experienced than average Excel user, you probably know a good deal about workbooks, formulas, charts, and other Excel features. Now it's time to expand your horizons and explore an entirely new aspect of Excel, the Visual Basic Editor. In this lesson, you find out how to work with the Visual Basic Editor and you get down to more important aspect of writing some VBA code. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to understand the Visual Basic Editor, discovering the Visual Basic Editor parts, components, know what goes into a VBA module, understand 3 ways to get VBA code into a module, customize the VBE environment. So what is VBE? VBE is a separate application where you write and edit your VBA macros. It works seamlessly with Excel, which means that Excel takes care of opening the VBE when you need it. From Excel 2013, every workbook displays a separate window. However, there is only one VBA window and it works with all open Excel windows. You cannot run the VBE separately, which means Excel must be running for the VBE to run. Activating the VBE, as mentioned earlier, the quickest way to activate the VBE is to press Alt F11 when Excel is active. To return to Excel, press Alt F11 again, or you can just click the Close button in the VBE title bar. When the VBE window closes, Excel is activated. You can also activate VBE by using developer code Visual Basic command. If you don't have a developer tab at the top of your Excel window, refer to the beginning of last lesson, lesson 2, where I explain how to get the handy developer tab to show up. VBE components. As you see here, the VBE program with some of the key parts identified: menu bar, toolbar, project window, code window, immediate window, properties window. We'll talk about every component in details. We will start by menu bar. The VBE menu bar works just like every other menu bar you have seen. It contains commands that you use to do things with the various components in the VBE. You may also notice that many commands have shortcut key associated, like Ctrl G for immediate window, Ctrl R for project explorer. Next is toolbar. The standard toolbar, by default, it is next to the menu bar. Here is it. And it is one of the 4 menu bars available in VBE. You can customize the toolbars, move them around, display other toolbars, and so on. Display other toolbars from View Toolbars. As you see, debug, edit, standard, and user form. Show user form. Okay. Next is project window. This project window, which displays a tree diagram that shows every workbook currently open in Excel, including any hidden workbooks or add-ins, if any. You can double click items to expand or contract within the outline. If the project window is not visible, we can press Ctrl R for shortcut, or from View, select Project Explorer. The Properties window. It is mainly used for Microsoft objects and forms, and it is context specific, which means depending on what you are selecting here, you'll find list of properties in the properties window related to your selection. For example, I will give you a nice example here. You are in the name and time sheet. You have sheet 1 and 2. Okay, for the sheet 2, you have property called visible. If you click the drop down menu here, you will find three options: 1, 0, and 2. 1 is sheet visible, Excel sheet visible. This is default by Excel that the sheet is visible, which means you can open it and see it. The second option is hidden, which means that it is hidden, but you can, from Excel, not from VBA, you can unhide it. And we have third option, which is Excel sheet very hidden. Very hidden means in normal Excel, if you right click and select unhide, you will not find that sheet. So let us try. Select sheet 2, Excel sheet very hidden. Let us go back to Excel, our file in Excel. Unhide option. There is no unhide option, means you cannot unhide this sheet using Excel. You can only unhide it from the VBA. A code window. It is where you put your VBA code. Every object in a project has an associated code window. We can view the code window by double click the object like module 2 or module 1. So module 2 is empty. So unless you add some VBA code, that code window will be totally empty. And module 1, double click, it has some code where you can change, edit, write the code. And for the immediate window, which is may or may not be visible. So if it is not visible, press Ctrl G, and it is most useful for executing VBA statements directly and for debugging your code. So if you are just starting out the VBA, this window will not be that useful. So feel free to close it and free up some screen space for other things. So we discussed the main VBA components: menu bar, toolbar, project window, properties window, code window, and immediate window. Creating a module. In general, a VBA module can hold three types of code: declarations, one or more information statements that you provide to VBA. For example, you can declare the data type for variable you plan to use or set some other module-wide options. Declarations are basically housekeeping statements. They are not executed. Number two is sub-procedures, a set of programming instructions that you, when executed, performs some actions. And function procedures, a set of programming instructions that returns a single value, similar to concept of worksheet function like sum if, count if. So a single VBA module can store any number of sub-procedures, function procedures, and declarations. Well, there is a limit about 64,000 characters per module. Let us see how to organize a VBA module, which is completely up to you because some people prefer to keep all their VBA code for application in a single VBA module. Others like to split up the code into several different modules. It is a personal choice, just like arranging furniture. Now we are going to learn how to deal with modules. To add a module from insert module. Now it is under modules 1, 2, 3. To remove the module from file, remove module 3. And Excel will ask, do you want to export module 3 before removing it? If yes, that means you are going to store it to your computer. Otherwise, click no. You can also import file or export file from file menu. Getting VBA code into a module. Before you can do anything meaningful, you must have some VBA code in the VBA module. You can get VBA code into a VBA module in three ways: to enter the code directly, or to use the Excel macro recorder to record the actions and convert those actions to VBA code like we have done in the name and time macro, or to copy the code from one module and paste it into another module. The first way is to enter the code directly. Sometimes the best route is the most direct one. So entering code directly involves typing the code using the keyboard. Entering and editing text in a VBA module works as you may expect. You can select, copy, cut, paste, and do other things to the text. Now we are in a blank workbook named Direct Code, and let us start creating some VBA code by entering it directly to the module. So we need to press Alt F11 to activate the VBE. Alt F11. So we'll stay here at direct code, and from insert, let us insert a module, new module. And as you see, it comes under the direct code module 1. So let us insert a procedure from insert procedure and give it a name as guess my name. Type is sub and scope is public. Okay, so public sub guess name. We will start writing the code right here. So the code is simply for a message to display a message with text and two buttons, yes or no, and will determine what will happen if the user click yes and what will happen if the user click no. So let us start writing the code. Message equal between double quotes is your name space and application dot username, and that will display the username from the computer username. Enter, and answer will be equal message box message, comma, VB yes or no. Now we'll determine what will happen for yes. Ans equal VBE no, then message box, never mind. Enter. If answer equal VB yes, then message box, you are welcome. So let us execute this procedure. We can click here or from run sub or user form, or to press F5. So once the procedure is executed, a message box will appear. Is your name Muhammad Al-Kharashi? If you click yes, you are welcome. Let us run it once more. No, never mind. The second way to get a VBA code into a module is to use macro recorder to record your actions. So we'll use record macro and we'll name it 15 days ahead. Let us assign a shortcut key, Shift F. Control Shift F is the shortcut key, and for description, current date plus 15. Okay. So we started recording macro by selecting any cell and type a simple function is today and plus 15. We'll format it like fill color is yellow and font is Arial. 18 points. Stop recording. If we run the macro now using shortcut key Control Shift F, we'll write the current date of plus 15 days. Let us see the code for this macro by clicking Visual Basic. As you see here, VBA converted your actions to a code. The last way to get a VBA module into to get a VBA code into a module is to copy and paste from one module to another. So, for example, if you have another code from somewhere else, you can copy it here. And when running the macro, this code will be executed. We will speak now about customizing the VBE environment. If you are serious about becoming an Excel developer, you will spend a lot of time with VBA modules on your screen. To help make things as comfortable as possible, the VBE provides a quiet customization options. VBE is active now. We'll choose from Tools, Options. You'll see a dialog box with 4 tabs: Editor, Editor Format, General, and Docking. The Editor tab has two The Editor tab has two types of settings: Code Settings and Window Settings. The Auto Syntax Check settings determines whether the VBE pops up a dialog box if discovers a syntax error while you are entering your VBA code. The dialog box tells roughly what the problem is. If you don't choose this setting, VBA flags syntax errors by displaying them in a different color from the rest of the code. And you don't have to deal with any dialog boxes popping up on your screen. The second code setting is Require Variable Declaration. If this option is set, notice that VBE inserts the following statement at the beginning of each new VBA module. Option Explicit. Changing this setting affects only new modules, not existing modules. If this statement appears in your module, you must explicitly define each variable you use. In lesson 7, I will explain why you should develop this habit. Normally, I keep this option turned off because I prefer to add option explicit statement manually. The third code setting is auto list members. If this option is set, VBE provides some help when you are entering your VBA code. It displays a list that would logically complete the statement you are typing. This magic is called IntelliSense. IntelliSense is a general term for a variety of code setting features, including code completion, parameter info, quick info, and member lists. IntelliSense are sometimes called by other names such as code completion, content assist, and code hinting. This is one of the best features of VBE, and I always advise to keep it turned on. The next code setting is Auto Quick Info. If the Auto Quick Info option is set, VBE displays information about functions and their arguments. If you type message box, see here, this is telling you about arguments for the message box function. The next code setting is Auto Data Tips. If this option is set, VBE displays the value of the variable over which your cursor is placed when you are debugging code. The last code setting is Auto Indent. The Auto Indent setting determines whether VBE automatically indents each new line of code as same as the previous line. You can use the tab key to indent your code, not the spacebar. Also, you can use Shift tab to unindent a line of code. The Edit toolbar, which is hidden by default, contains two useful buttons, indent, and outdent. These buttons let you quickly indent or unindent a block of code. Select the code and click one of these buttons to change the block's indenting. We have three Windows settings option. Drag and drop text editing. When enabled, lets you copy and move text by dragging and dropping. Default to full module view. If set procedures in the code window appear as a single scrollable list. If this option turned off, you can see only procedure at a time. The procedure separator. If it is on, separator bars appears at the end of each procedure in a code window. Next tab is editor format. With this tab, you can customize the way the VBE looks like. You can select the color, font, size, background, and indicator. The option available under the General tab is Options dialog box. In almost every case, the default settings are just fine. The most important setting is error trapping. I suggest that you use this one, the break on unhandled error settings, which is the default. If you use a different settings, your error handling code will not work. The last tab is Docking tab. The options determine how the various windows in the VBE behave. When a window is docked, it is fixed in a place along one of the edges of the VBE program window. This makes it much easier to identify and locate particular window. In case of you turn off all, you will be having a big confusion mess of windows. Generally, the default settings work fine. I hope now you are more familiar with the VBE. Keep learning. In the next lesson, we are going to discuss the Excel object model.